Hi guys!
Welcome back to our channel. This is Carolyn.
This is Shota.
And today we'll be sharing with you guys 5 things that we actually argue about or have conflict about.
基本的に僕たちはそんなに喧嘩することないんですけど、そんな僕たちでも文化の違いだったり育ってきた環境のせいで意見が合わないことがねよくあるので、そんな内容を今日は皆さんにシェアしたいと思います。
思います。じゃあ行きましょう。So the first thing that we actually often have conflict about is actually language misunderstanding and miscommunication.
言葉の違いによるコミュニケーション不足と誤解。
So about language misunderstanding and miscommunication, I think this is kind of like given because we speak different languages originally and there's a lot of nuance in our own language that cannot be delivered to the other person. That's why when we actually have discussions about deeper topics and we have serious discussions, we always have to resort to the simplest vocabulary so that the other person would be able to understand. And like the problem is when we do that still, there would be nuances and abstract concepts where we probably cannot convey properly to each other.
細かいニュアンスを伝えられないのがむずがゆいというか、ちょっとストレス溜まる時はあるよね。ね、僕にとっては日本語が第一言語だから日本語でしか伝えられないことってあると思うんだけど、その時に言いたいんだけどこれ英語でなんて言うんだろうみたいな。
Yeah, we probably have to bust out Google Translate. The last time that we had a serious discussion, I actually prepared like points I wanted to talk about, and I translated all the important words into Japanese so that Shota would understand it 100%.
I was so impressed. Oh, you prepared like.
Or else I
it was
realized
like
it's like
presentation. That's our style, kind of like we don't argue.
So,
Instead, we
talk
and discuss about the problem we have.
So without being too emotional. Another thing about language is that because sometimes the way I speak in English is also quite direct, Shota would misunderstand it and take it personally and find what I say very offensive.
時々ね、めっちゃ攻撃してくるやんみたいな。特にね、俺のあれじゃない ISFJ だから気にしすぎる性格なんだよね、多分。
そう。Like he gets hurt by words. だから、now I know. Whenever we speak now, I am more careful with my vocabulary choice.
ありがとうございます。
日本語をペラペラ話せるように努力します。
英語をペラペラ話せるように努力します。
次2つ目は It's very interesting, I feel like. It's our communication style. Like we have arguments about how we're supposed to communicate.
コミュニケーション方法。これは文化の違いなのかわからんけど、キャロリンは思ったことをその場で言う。深夜2時とかに不安なことがあったりしたら深夜2時に話し始めて結局2時間ぐらい朝4時まで話をしたりとかしてで次の日もお互い仕事があるのに全然寝れなくて仕事に支障をきたすっていうことが結構あるよね。
I agree, but then I think there are circumstances where at that moment thoughts came up and I wanted to talk about it. So and I think it's very important to have an open and honest relationship where you can talk about everything with your partner.
Yeah.
But I also agree with Shota that scheduling a time to talk would be a good solution. Like I think it's a compromise between the two of us. But there were many times where, for example, Shota would be like after we have a discussion and he'd be like, is there a way to save time? Is there a way to not have this talk? How could I have avoided this talk, you know?
Yeah.
And he's very mentally drained from confrontation in general. I think that is not just Shota. I'm guessing a lot of Asian people in general would hate confrontation. But I feel like confrontation is very important to have an open and honest relationship and to have a healthy relationship. That is why sometimes we have conflict about if we should have these talks.
For you, you have to solve that problem at that moment because
So
you feel that way. だから I should just listen and then like comfort you だよね。
じゃあ次3つ目 is the fact that I don't mind bothering other people.
KY
I'm sure the KY かな
KY っていい意味でも悪い意味でも KY だよね。
If you don't know what is KY, KY means cookie. 読めない. It's a very Japanese thing and it basically means that you have to read between the lines and always pay attention to your surroundings and act accordingly. And there's also a big thing in Japan called you shouldn't meiwaku people. I'm not used to that, so I feel like I always 迷惑かける people when we're in the public.
ほとんどの外国人が、まあ、気にしないよね、あんまり人のことを。なんか言いたいことは言う、やりたかったらやる聞きたかったら聞く。すごいよ。I like that culture because I'm KY in Japan 多分ちょっと。でも she's、intensely KY。例えばお店のウェブサイトとかで予約不要って書いてあっても予約必要か聞いた方がいいんじゃないとか。で俺はだって予約不要って書いてあるから予約不要じゃないって思うんだけど。
Because it's very uncommon for that thing to be
そうだね。
予約不要。
聞くのが毎回僕なんですよ。日本人だから日本にいてね、日本語話せる僕らいいんだけど。
なんか so it's always like I ask her
なんか俺が
like,
KY
can you ask
み
this?
たいな。
Can you ask that? Can you ask this?
あとはキャロリン人前で
なんか you have to give
なんて
context. After I 筋トレ my legs are sore and I just cannot walk up and down the stairs, right? And if you've been to Japan, you would know that there's a lot of stairs inside of the subway station. I'd ask Shota to just give me a push where my butt is. And then he'd be like, no.
There's so many people in Omotesando Shibuya and then she asked me to push my ass.
I cannot walk up the stairs.
So embarrassing. What if somebody thinks I'm hentai?
But I'm not screaming. I guess I'm KY. Next.
4つ目、
Affection.
愛情表現ね。
He's not very affectionate, so there were many times where we would have, mainly I would raise my concern or dissatisfaction about the fact that he's not affectionate enough. He would never say, I love you. It'd always be me saying I love you and he'd be like, oh, I love you too. So,
そうだ
or
ね。
cuddle とか kisses とかもあんまりないし Of course, now is a lot better. Yeah, but like I would always be the one who initiates it.
まあ日本人はあんまり言わないんだよね。I love you っていうか愛してるとか好きだよとか全然日常の中で全然言わない。もちろんなんか大事な日、例えばなんか誕生日とか結婚記念日とかだと多分ね言うと思うよ。でも普通の生活してる中で愛してるよとか絶対言わないし。
まあまあわかるわかる。だから、I don't expect much now.
一回でもあったよね、なんか we argued about that.
Kind of like make me feel that I'm not really loved or like, you know, like I think it's a pretty shitty feeling if somebody feels that you like your partner a lot more than how much your partner likes you. Like I think it's just that physical interaction is not his main love languages. That's not how Shota shows love. That's why it's rough.
But we argued about that solution was
そうそうそう。
okay, I'm gonna start telling you I love you every day. That was the solution.
So, でもなんか it never actually worked out. Also, I think like it's not very meaningful if he just says it because it's a task. But it's an actual issue. Just imagine like you're so used to words of affection growing up. Like you would say love you to your friends, your parents would say I love you, you'd get hugs from your siblings. You know, you're just so used to this environment, but you don't get that from your romantic partner. It's just kind of like, whoa.
ハグとかさ、I love you or we don't say to family, anybody. だからまあ cultural difference だね。
You just gotta get used to it. しょうがない。次. Last but not least, one of the things that we often argue or have conflict about is actually our values.
価値観の違い。
I don't think this is a problem that only happens between international couples. I think this is a problem that most couples encounter.
価値観の違いは国際カップルだったら特に育ってきた環境だったり文化が違うからいろんな価値観の違いがあって
Things like marriage, life goals, how you want to live your life, how you want to raise your kid, things like financial priorities. There's a lot of core values, I think, that would differ, at least for us. It's quite difficult to navigate through these differences and also find a way that we can compromise and, you know, find a way that would work for both of us in the future. So I think when you engage in these discussions, you will realize that the reason why the other person thinks a specific way is actually largely attributed to that person's cultural background. If those values are already so deeply entrenched in the person's head, then it would be very difficult to change that person's mind. But it's not that person's fault or, you know, nor is it the fact that the person is being stubborn. It's really because that is how the person is brought up and you have to understand that.
キャロリンはリストみたいな 準備してくれたよね。その人生においての一
何が大事に
般的にみんなが何を大事にしてるかっていうリスト。例えば、家を持つこと、車を持つこと、子供を持つこととか、その中で3段階ぐらい評価できるんだけど、大事にしてる、そうでもない、全然大事にしてないみたいなね。でそれを一つずつ2人でねチェックしたよね。
Yeah,
価値観の違いをどうすり合わせるかっていうのが大事だと思う。
value differences is very, very important because if, let's say, you have core values that you're unwilling to compromise on, then I think you have to rethink if your partner is the right person for you.
でも価値観が違うのは結構面白いというか成長につながるかなって思う。今までなかった価値観を教えてくれるじゃん。あ、こういう考え方とかこういう価値観の人もいるんだっていうのを気づいて、あ、自分そっちの価値観の方が合ってるかもっていう風に改めて考えさせられることもあるから、一概にね悪いだけじゃないよね。
So Tala is just difficult to get through, but I think it's an unavoidable, inevitable conversation that you're going to have with your partner at some point in the relationship.
柔軟にね対応していかないとね。以上5つが、僕らの言い合いになる内容でした。国際カップルにはこういう文化の違いによる言い合いとか喧嘩っていうのが、つきものだと思います。育ってきた環境とか文化が全然違うからそれはしょうがないよね。でも大事なのは理解しようとすること、お互いのね文化だったり環境を、あと尊敬すること。この人は自分のことを好きっていうのがまず前提にあって喧嘩をしている。そうやって考えると自分の感情を伝えるだけじゃなくて相手のことも理解しようとできて、お互いの意見の中間点を見つけることができると思います。それが仲良く付き合っていく方法かなっていうふうに僕は思います。
I think the conclusion from this video is that compared to normal couples, I feel like international couples would face more problems when it comes to cultural differences, and this is something that is inevitable, but everything could be solved essentially. I feel like if you love the person enough, I think if you truly love your partner, there's always a way to compromise no matter what it is. The power of love is very strong. That's it for today's video. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Bye!